Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, hello, Sue. Hello, Black Earth Productions. We're going to get to questions in a minute about what's happening and what we can do. And as you know, or maybe you don't know, this is Sienna Lea. I'm here with Laura Lee Mistycah of firstwaveindigos.com. And I do the quantum disentanglement work. We've been working for a year now. Laura Lee has been working in getting the invaders out of our subatomic space for 20 years, 30 years?
A lot. Decade.
I'm just going to be really real. We're in such a raw and powerful time now. Just want to be very real and authentic with you all in saying that there's an awful lot of information out there about the alien, that the alien card is the one that is not being, it's being talked in our community, but it's not being talked about nearly enough. And it's the agenda behind the agenda to absorb us into a terraformed world and absorb our human divine intelligence into artificial intelligence. And this lady I'm here with, Laura Lee Mistycah, and her team, who will go anonymous at the moment, have been on the front lines taking these, as Laura Lee so eloquently and Hal put it, ass souls out. We certainly send everybody to their highest outcome, but some of these predators lack any kind of source spark or compassion at all. And we're just food and lockdown on this farm. And so I do want to say that we have an update today. We almost couldn't do this because Laura Lee got hit. We have a huge update about the reset of the hologram, about the nature of the hologram, about there's been a massive change. And of course, Laura Lee is taking the brunt of it, as it shifted. So I need to turn this over to you, Laura Lee. It's a miracle you're here today. I understand that you got real close to leaving your avatar for good. So can you fill us in on what's going on? We're going to talk about the hologram. We're going to answer all your questions. And let's just put it over to our favorite witch, Laura Lee Mistycah. Welcome. And I'm so glad that you're well enough to be here and present the unbelievably amazing work and updates that I have been so honored to be a part of. So we love you hugely, and it's all yours, beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I could start with a question.
Yeah, I've had 3 days. Well, I think I need to tell you what the hell has been going on. It was last Thursday. I had days run into days, but I had a chicken who I called her Bumblefoot, and she had sauerkraut, and not just sauerkraut, but she also had like a lash egg. And I'd been giving her CBD oil and stuff, and she started doing better. And then I finally drained, then it turned into water belly, and I drained that, and she did really good that day. And then the next day she was just kind of moping around. And then the day after that, I found her in the coop dead, laying at the bottom dead. And I had some of my indigos helping me, to try to see who was on her. And there was all sorts of AI. There was like a whole bunch of stuff. And I thought, why her? What's going on? Well, when I opened the coop door, one of my other chickens, with one of the foo-foo heads, my gold one, was like flipping around on the ground, just like rolling, and her head would go back and forth like this. It was the craziest thing. And I picked her up and I held her, and and she kept trying to reach something, like if she had a belly button, she kept trying to reach that. And when she'd go under with her beak, she would roll. It was just so weird. And you could tell that she was really upset. So I had one of my helpers, I called her and said, hey, something really ain't right about this. And she helped me clean her off and energetically and try to sort out what was going on. Well, the one that died, the foo-foo that died, she said, was she really a chicken? And I said, I don't know, I've never checked. And she wasn't. She was a dragon. And she, when she crossed, she was doing some kind of beta testing or something. And, doing an undercover mission, I don't know all the particulars on that, but I know it was really important. And everything worked out well with her. But then this gold one, this Smarty Foo, and I call her Smarty because I was hoping it would help her be a little smarter, because she, when I first got her, I got her, she was kind of a rescue, the lady that had her. And this is kind of important. You have to kind of get the background on this so you understand where this story is going. She had ordered, I think, like 5 turkeys, and instead of getting 5 turkeys, she got 50 chickens. And she just had way too many chickens. So me and my Ghostbuster partner, Ronnie, took some of them, off of her hands, kind of rescues. And then there was one left, and she said she went out, and she said she was all bloody, like her face was all bloody, and she couldn't see her eye. She says, I don't even know if she's got an eye. Will you take her? And I said, sure, I'll take her. So I went and got her, took her to the vet. Her eye was still there after we wiped all the blood and feathers off. And the vet did stitches on her eye. Well, so she healed from that, but she, it's hard for foo-foos to see anyway. So I keep clipping their bangs so that they can see. And so, they're getting older. They're like, I don't know, 7 years old. So they've got cataracts and stuff. So it's kind of hard for them to see. So anyway, this foo-foo, Smarty Foo, as I'm trying to work with her and get her to not flip and roll and everything and stabilize her, I'm aching her and I'm doing all these things. And my friend was on the phone, and she said, is she, no, this was the second day. She said, is she even a chicken? And I said, I don't know. And I checked, and she wasn't. She's a gargoyle. And I'm like, how did that happen? Well, then we found out that there was this thing that was happening to a lot of life forms on the planet, and it was taking, it shoved out Smarty Foo, so she was just like on the peripheral, and then shoved in a gargoyle. And I find out later it was one of my gargoyle friends. Well, the gargoyle, it was like being plucked from one place and put in another. You don't know what's going on. And she didn't know how to run a chicken body. And then we had the chicken on the outside trying to get back in, and it was just causing chaos, mass chaos. So as we started untangling this, like we got part of it kind of figured out, and we got her kind of stabilized, and so she was eating, and I made sure she was drinking. But then that night, I got, within 3 minutes, I was at my computer, and all of a sudden things started to like wave on the computer. I'm like, oh, I can't see that very good. And then pretty soon it got worse and worse. And pretty soon I'm like sick and nauseated, and I can't stabilize. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so I went to go get some potassium, and I ended up on the floor. And I says, I am really sick. And my husband said, do you need something to puke in? I said, yeah, I think I do. So he brought me this bowl just in time for me to start puking in it. And I'm weak and shaky, and the room is moving, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I'm just like aching and just trying to do everything I can. I wrote to one of my indigo friends that was helping me, and she had already gone to bed. So I'm like, okay, I got to weather this out myself. And I kept doing screw you losers and just trying to like be as centered as I could and not, it's like it was trying to make me think that I would never get better, that I was going to be like this for the rest of my life and I was going to die. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, then the next day, I was able to sleep. If I'd close my eyes, then it would stop, everything would stop wiggling. And my husband asked me what it was like. And I said, well, if you turn like this and keep doing that, that's about what it's like, how everything just kind of moves when you move your head back and forth. So I made it through the night. It was really hard, and I just slept. If I'd sleep, thank goodness, if I'd go to sleep, it would stop. But then as soon as I'd wake up to turn over, everything would spin and I get sick again. And not just sick, but I'm like shuddering and my whole body is shuddering, and it's just awful, just horrible. And having to like grab onto things when I was going anywhere. If I go to the bathroom, I'd have to grab onto the walls to get there. So by the next morning or the next afternoon, I was able to work on this with my friend again. And what we found out is that there were these mirrors, and they were in mother ships, and there was 3 tiers of them in each mother ship. And these mirrors were all over the hologram, and they were designed, somehow the creepsters had something to do with it because they're master illusionists, but it was, this whole mirror network was kind of an AI in and of itself, but it was working with some of the children of the 2 creepsters that were hiding that we hadn't found before. And what it was doing is causing all sorts of mayhem and illusions. And it was a part of whatever was pulling beings, all plants, animals, people, pulling them out of their bodies. And then what it would do is wait, and someone or something would come by and gather them all up, and they were going to take them to a new realm that was this god-awful place where they would be like tortured. It was like a new and improved torture place. And then shoving things that were not even remotely involved into their body. And so we rounded all of that up, thank goodness, and we found it. We found the realm, and that's all been extinguished. That is not happening now. If it were to go into, if it were to like boot up, that could have been really bad, really, really bad. Well, apparently, what happened when we were working on this is I got a glimpse into one of these mirrors, and it knocked me on my tail. And if that's what would happen with just a glimpse, I can't even imagine what would be if you went full on into that. So once we got that fixed, then I gradually started getting better. Like yesterday, like last night, I was probably 60% better. I could like walk, and 60 to 75% better. And today I'm about 90. Still a little jittery from it, but I'm not, it's not as, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I can function. So the reason I tell you this is that, and these mirrors were like a level 10 evil. They were like as evil as the D monster. And they've been around a long time, but they have just been like in hiding. And so by finding these, and they're not, we had to get Tesla and Zeolock and Kryon. We had to have everybody helping us to eliminate these. And then there was these little filaments that Kryon had to go after to make sure that they didn't like come back together and make themselves a mirror again. So the good news is that those are gone, and these poor animals. What I found was that this gargoyle was one that I knew back when the son of the cult lord was staying at my house. And she was like in the upper echelon of this benevolent gargoyle realm, and somehow they just snatched her out and put her in my chicken. I'm like, what are the chances of that? I don't know. It's so weird. If I didn't experience it, I'd say, you know what, you are just a little bit loony, lady. This is way over the top. But it was so weird, the synchronicity between Smarty Foo rolling and tumbling, and then me going, like 10 hours later, not even 10 hours, like 8 hours, 6 hours later, I get that, where I felt like I was rolling and tumbling. Now, the thing was, she kept trying to get something that where your belly button would be. And that was the point of entry where they would shove things in and shove things out. Anyway, it was just weird. So the good news is it's gone. And as I've said before, even with this, we're still on schedule. We're still, it's like I said before, if everything is scheduled, okay, it's going to happen. Now, getting these mirrors out of here is going to make things happen better and easier and more efficiently than it would have before. So it's all good. I just want you to know that weird shit happens and we get through it. And when we get through it, what I kept saying to myself while this was happening is like, I'm going to get immunities to this. And every second that I was feeling sick, I'm like, I'm getting immunities. I'm getting immunities. I'm feeling all of this and I'm getting immune to this. This is not happening again. And so I'd like to present that to you too. If you get hit psychically about something, tell yourself that I'm getting immunities and I'm going to get over this. And one thing that I said too was, okay, at least when I close my eyes, I'm not spinning. So at least I can get relief that way. And at least I have some help here with me. And, it started, I listed on my hand 5 things that were useful about what I was going through, because I thought I was going to die. It was really disgusting. So that's just a little background on and yesterday I was feeling better, but I didn't know until this morning if I'd actually be able to do this podcast. So I'm here and life is good. So any questions?
There are some questions here, Laura Lee, and but I feel, and we're so grateful to all of the beings and you, the being that you are, for making it through that. And I'm sure that the implications of what you cleared and what you did and why you had to get hit, because you're the only one that could fix that for us. So thank you hugely for that. Now, a week or two ago, you sent me the Chris Geo tape about the resetting of the hologram and about the virus. And I feel like we need to talk about that. And we do have a question here from Sedicus. Am I saying your name right? And this may be later in the show, but I think that I would love to see us answer this on this show. And he says, hey, ladies, in light of the procession, where do you see things at the moment and what must happen? So I think it's really important that we look into, we were going to start this as a book club, and we're going to continue it as a book club. And next week, we're going to really dive deep into the nature of this hologram and, how it began, how it got manipulated, all of that's in Laura Lee's book, Kryahgenetics 2, the sequel, which I highly recommend you get and come next Sunday at the same time when Laura Lee will probably be recovered sufficiently to dive in that. It's a fairly massive topic. But I think that in this hour, and we need to be brief because you're still in recovery, Laura Lee, really. But in terms of because in the last couple of weeks, quite honestly, you, the team, Lisa Harrison and Chris Geo and them have all declared that the virus that has infected the hologram is no longer running virulent, wild, and free, that there's an antivirus and that it's in check. And this only just happened briefly. Can you share anything about your understanding and your experience of that?
I totally agree with them. And everything I'm getting from home team is, like I said, it's like we're in charge. And after getting rid of these mirrors, we're even more in charge than we ever were. And I felt last night there was something very interesting. As I was doing my egging, I egg all the animals in the house and me and my husband and the trees. As I was doing my egging last night, it felt, the only way I can describe it is smoother. It's like just smooth, just really smooth. And I'm like, this is different. It was a very, instead of egg, it was like egg. It was smooth and mellow. And I'm like, this is different. And I talked to one of my indigo buddies and she said, yeah, she felt something different too. Now, what I had been getting is that today there would be another reset. And I'm getting that when I was feeling everything get smooth, it would have been, it was like 10 o'clock Pacific. So like on the East Coast, it would have been like 1 a.m. And something I feel has shifted. What? I don't know. I haven't looked in the news to see what's going on. But it's like things are like more mellow. It's like calmer.
There's been some major developments in the last 24 hours politically. And I know we don't go political here so much, but let us just say that it is lining up with that. I don't know, like the virus was here before and now it's like there, but it's not infecting it's not winning. And there's some incredible whistleblower stuff, and those of you who follow it, I know you know, that is coming out of the woodwork in the last 48 hours that are going to change the course of history fundamentally. Yes.
Okay, so if this is the first reset and it's smoothing things out, just go to your core and see how it feels, and then anchor into this reset. It's like, okay, this is where we're at now, and we're going to play the game here. We played the game back there that way, but now we're going to play it this way. It's different. It's smoother. It's nicer, and we'll just keep playing this way, and then wait for the next reset. And I haven't gotten anything on when the next one was. But I've been getting for a few days before this show that it would be around the day that I did the show. And I had no idea what it was going to look like, and I did not know I was going to go through hell for 3 days.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But Laura Lee, there are many people from all across the globe that are experiencing, how can we put it? Because since this is a new audience and new people may see this later on, I think we should talk about what I mean, everyone's talking about the reset. Everyone means different things. Now, you got downloads from, and Laura Lee and myself and some of the other people here on the holographic rescue team, and probably others here do talk to beings that are outside the hologram.
Well, you have to understand about Hal, and this is in the book, and I would highly recommend the book because it will give you information about what's going on now that you couldn't get anywhere else. But when I found out what Hal's real position was, I just thought he was this guy that helped me out, and he was from back home. I did not know, but his job is Chief Hologram Operations Officer. This is his gig. This is his baby. This hologram is his. It's his. So he's a lot more significant. I mean, I thought he was significant before, but I did not know that this hologram is his baby. It's his, and he's in charge of it. So that will help you who have been working with Hal have a little more. Well, it made me have more respect for him. I did before, but it made a lot of sense. It's like, of course, Hal, and it's so funny with 2001: A Space Odyssey and Hal, and it's all just kind of a big joke. But to find out that this hologram is number one priority to him because it's his. He was one of the masters that helped create it. So that's a little background, and you get more information about Hal in Kryahgenetics 2 and Kryahgenetics 1 explains him. But it'll help you get more savvy to what's going on. Kryahgenetics 2 will really get you up to snuff, especially the chapter on our helpers. So you can kind of pick and choose who you need to help you with certain problems that you're having. And these aren't just the regular love and light beings. These are like very significant, very capable beings that are here to help us. That's what their job is. And when you go through the list, you'll just go, holy moly, look at all the help we have that I didn't know I had. And some of them you can call on, they'll be there in a minute. Some of them, they have to pick you depending on what your job is here. So I would highly recommend that, do yourself a favor and start getting some of this background information because it sure will help you in the long run.
Well, I certainly know since the time that I've been working with home and these amazing beings. I mean, the sessions, that the rocks and eggs can go out and find the perpetrators and quarantine them so that we can do the work without getting completely pummeled most of the time.
Yes.
And these beings, the kinds of energetic shifts and psychosynthesis, and quantum leaps and healing and a succession of pain and suffering is off the charts. I'm very old. I've been working for many, many decades, and I'm always open to new things. And because we're constantly evolving, and I've had to completely repurpose the shadow work to include these tools and these beings. And every time I get done with one of these sessions, I have to pinch myself. Like, did that really happen? And the people thank you so much. Did that result hold? Yes, that anxiety that I had all my life, it's gone. Like people forget to even tell me this because it's just like happening so often now. So that's got my attention. Because I didn't have the direct experience of how the holograms formed. I don't have memory of a lot of this. And I don't just believe people's story of how our reality is formed or who's in charge, but through my own direct experience, the shifts that people are going through is what has me here in this understanding and growing, of course, and learning. But now Serena says hi, and I feel the mirrors have been keeping the illusion alive, even though the reset is happening. Would you concur with that, Laura Lee? That
they were. Mirrors are gone. So, maybe that's why I felt this smoothness. And somebody else said, have the eggs been upgraded again? Yes, when the mirrors were taken out, the eggs got all of the intel, and so did the rocks, for how to manage things now with the mirrors gone, what the mirrors did, what they were doing to us, how they were doing it. And yes, the eggs have been updated. Thank you for that.
Laura Lee, I don't know when, a month or two ago, when the information came from Hal, I believe, probably others, about the reset happening, and that there would be a huge change. It's coming in waves, and all of that's going on. Then, to answer Black Earth Production, that there's a whole other side of this story. And you explained it to me that the reset was going to be in waves, and many people were going to leave body and not be a part of this. And it was like the holographic the cosmic rescue crew, those who are waking up and stepping up to the plate to be part of the solution. Just briefly, these beings are like being taken off. Like if your computer had a virus and the computer was our hologram, these beings are being taken off onto a USB drive, and there's a cleaning process. And we can see it, of course, in 3D and many levels. But you were speaking, and Hal was speaking of a different level of cleaning process. None of us know exactly how this is going to go. But at the end of it, we can be reinserted here if we wish, or whatever. Can you speak at all to that? Because I don't know anyone else speaking to that or has that information, but you and the holographic rescue team.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is how it was explained to me, is that once we get to a certain point, then it's like all the benevolent beings, like the really benevolent ones, and you can't schmooze, and I think this is in Kryahgenetics too. You can't schmooze, you can't buy your way. It's like either you're good or you're not. Either you're benevolent or you're not. And those beings that were indigenous to this hologram that are benevolent will be saved on a hard drive, computer program wiped out, then and cleaned, and then reinserted. And how that's going to look, I don't know. I don't know if they'll remember. I don't know if they won't remember. But that was how it was explained to me. It's more technical. I know in the Bible it says you'll be changed in the twinkling of an eye. It could be, perceived that way. But what I know is that the benevolent, if you're benevolent, say you have a grandma or a cousin or whatever that's not on the hologram rescue team, that wasn't from back home, but you're worried about them. Well, if they're benevolent, they'll stay. They'll get put on on a hard drive, wipe clean, and put back in. And so that seems fair. It doesn't seem fair to have all of these assholes running around torturing everybody. And either you're good or you're not. How much more fair is it than that?
Well, didn't he say, tell me if I'm wrong. What? Sorry.
And that goes for animals and plants, every life form. Okay, every life form will be.
So you had said a third are benevolent, a third are soulless, and a third are assholes. And the 2/3 that are soulless and assholes are going bye-bye. Now, we don't know exactly. I mean, I've been trying to get that data to y'all. What, are they going to disappear in the night, or are you going to wake up and people are all dead on the streets, or, but I don't think we know, really.
I don't know. I don't know what, because there's so many ways it could happen. I mean, it could be proof they're just not there, and whether you remember them, and it's like, well, where did they go? I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know, and everybody will maybe perceive it different. Maybe those on the hologram rescue team will perceive it different than somebody that's indigenous to this hologram. And so it's not like one size fits all. And I don't know how that's going to happen. I just know that that's what has been told to me.
And everybody, we've been told we're going to be okay, but what does that mean exactly? Because like you, Laura Lee, you're on an off-grid farm. You got it, as far as being prepared for, there's so many things coming down the pike in 3D, the asteroid, the fake asteroid, and the EMF hit, and the rolling blackouts, and the loss of power and electricity globally. And there's a lot of talk about that you really are going to have to be off grid and have your own food supply. Like, what if the power goes out? You're not going to get your checks. You're not going to get your social security. And now fear porn, and and Laura Lee, you say, oh, well, we'll be fine. But I think everyone has to follow their own guidance. Yes. I'm preparing. I'm getting as off grid as I can be. And yes. Am I getting hysterical about it? No. The people I'm preparing with are a little bit crazy, but they're getting better. But because we can all get it's so crazy. I mean, it's so unstable. There are so many evil forces running around like mad people, and yet you can. To me, I don't know how the rest of you feel. I don't know how you feel about it, Laura Lee. I mean, they're still out there, but it's almost like watching a reality just get the energy just sucked out of it. I mean, look at Biden. Anyway, there's no energy left in the narrative, and they're throwing everything that they have, but there's nothing in it. There's nothing sustaining it. And I mean, we have a world. I mean, we have to be real. And I know that's not that funny, Hal, but give me a minute. I'm sure we'll find something funny in a bit. That's, I mean, it's just a shitstorm. It has been for thousands and thousands of years, and evil is everywhere being exposed. But I do feel that some of this is going to gain traction, that, we still have to be patient because there are 8 billion people on the planet. A lot of them, the thought of, understanding pedophilia, and that all the governments and all the religions are involved. And it's a devastating, very, very difficult thing to awaken like that. So it still looks like a shitstorm, and it probably will for a long time. But when we say we're winning, it is a very interesting concept, that the whole energetic informing because when she came in, right, Laura Lee, when the D-Monster came in, she, they were getting it all ready for the opening, and, everyone was making cakes, and she went storming, and she said, screw you, losers, I'm in here. And she turned it on with pure evil, right? That's the virus. She turned it on with the virus. That means every aspect, the culture, the ideas about marriage, religion, the food, the everything has been infected. It jump-started this reality of pure evil. And that is changing at the back door. So all of this stuff going on, I mean, it's going to be, we really have to get connected. And this work can certainly do that, to your own knowing. So if you need to be a prepper, you need to get out of LA now, or you need to do this, or you need to do, don't count on us to say, oh, you should, even though I've been harping at a bunch of you for a while to get off grid. But anyway, everybody has to get the board, right? It's not going to be one serves all. When Laura Lee says we'll be fine, she may mean because you're going to get the guidance to be in the right place at the right time to be fine, because you're going to be in a frequency that allows you to receive that. And you're not going to be listening to AI and all of this looping and false voices in your head, and all of the emotions that are triggering the repatterning of trauma that sabotaging you so you can't connect. So all that stuff can be cleared up with this work, because at the end of the day, we all have to listen, and we all have to be at the right place at the right time, right?
And exactly. And it never hurts to have extra food. It never hurts to have extra water, ever. I mean, what's it going to hurt to have, extra food and water in your house? And So do what you can. It's like calmly prepare and then go inside and say, okay, do I need to move? I know a lot of indigos that have moved in the last 2 months, a lot of them, just relocating and that were in horrible situations, and moved to another place, maybe not perfect, but a lot better than what they had back home. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's like, that doesn't mean you just sit on your laurels and do nothing and wait and say, I'm going to be fine.
Because we're the chosen ones. I don't think so, you guys.
Right. It depends on your situation. If you've got an opportunity for a better situation and it feels right, take it. Heaven's sakes, take it. But do it with calmness and happiness and sing on the way while you get there. But just go to your own internal guidance and you'll be okay. Now, if you just sit there and say, I'm going to be fine. Oh, yeah, there's a better opportunity over there, but I'm going to be fine. Oh, there's another opportunity and, it kind of looks good, but no, I want to stay here. I'll be fine. That's not going to work. You've got to go to your own internal truth detector inside that will help you. And the thing is, these people that I know that have moved, things fell into place. They had a lot of things that were crappy going on, but things fell into place so that they could get where they needed to go. Okay? And so that will happen if you're in a crappy place and it's like, put out resumes for somewhere else, do something else. If you feel like you need to go. If you don't, stay and collect some food and water. And the most important thing is to not get your undies in a knot with everything that's going on out there, because it is freaking crazy. It is. And it's like I said before, you zoom in and go, okay, see what's going on. Okay, got the download. Now I know how to restructure and do things, but I'm not going to stay out there with the crazy. Maybe make a little email here or there to give some people some ideas, but then I unplug. And if you do that, it's going to help you. I would not
say something to that. Well, go finish your thought.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Well, this is really important because it's seriously agonizing for many, many, many people, and we won't even talk about the children in the dumps, and I mean and all the people who lost their businesses, and all of the people who are getting taken over by AI and going batshit crazy and blaming everyone else. But also we have to remember we've been in lockdown for half a year now, and this has taken a toll emotionally on all of us. Okay. In order to survive, yes, we can be tough and we can unplug and we can do this and we can do that. But you also need to use these tools and techniques to alchemize, to shift, because the toxicity, of course, at the end, they're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink so that we just get absorbed. They don't want to let us go. That they're living off of our creation codes. They're going to do everything to prevent this. And they are inflicting some damage. And it is, so we can't just ignore that, because our emotional bodies, I'm seeing this with clients, I'm seeing it with myself, that a lot of that they're putting people under house arrest. Taking away all your freedom, that's a big deal. That's a big, and finding out that the whole friggin' world bought into it. It's a big, big deal.
Well, when you understand that the virus, the real scary virus, I'm not even going to say scary, the real threat is the corona crown virus that gets into your head and makes you batshit crazy. Okay, so anything you can do, I would get the tools on the night's training, use those tools, get the books to learn how to unplug that from your head. You don't have to have that virus coming into your head, telling you what to do, when to do, how to do it. You can unplug from that and say, no, screw you, loser. I'm not buying into your frequencies. Get that crown off my head. That's not what's going on. I have a mission. I'm going to go in here and do my mission. I'm not going to do crazy that you're putting in my head. Okay, so it's a process, and I don't know any better tools that you can get than what is in Kryahgenetics 2 and in the Knight's training.
Well,
It's
this
like
is literally brought from us through you, beautiful being, from outside the hologram. This is the manual. We got the manual. I've always been saying, I'm not coming to another planet with no operating manual. That sucks. You know,
this
is a manual that you've been getting piece by piece over decades from them, right? I mean, this is stuff you're just making up.
No, it's like you say, it hasn't been, it didn't come like that. It's piece by piece, and it is from home. So if you want to know how to run your body here, how to run your avatar, the Knight's training and the Kryahgenetics book will really help. Now, when you read the book, at the very end, there is something that makes so much sense that you'll go, yeah. But you got to read the whole book. Don't go and read the end first.
I used to always do that.
But it just lets you know we are in charge. Home team is in charge. It kind of looks like it wasn't, but when you read the back of the book, you'll go, okay, I get it. And it gives you an impetus to go, okay, game on, come on, what can I do? You know, I came here, I've got all these abilities. Let's get moving on it. Let's make this happen. Let's do it fast. And gives you a real jump start. Okay.
So at the end of the day, in terms of, because we're certainly not talking about, becoming a Zen monks, dissociating from ourselves, our authenticity, our feelings, our emotions. We're not, but we got to work on that stuff a lot, because it is getting so highly targeted that we are blaming each other. We're feeling hurt. We're feeling wounded. It's so powerful what we're feeling, and we can't just stop feeling it. But we do need to just chill that out. That because how are we going to stop whatever they throw at us, wherever you are? You're going. The strongest power you have is the power within yourself to be a warrior, and that means you don't have a hissy fit. You don't throw a tantrum. You're not a drama queen or king. You don't indulge, even though these emotions may be pounding the heck out of you and you can't stand it anymore and you feel suicidal. I mean, it's really intense. You got to move that emotional energy so that you can be part of the solution, that you can be the lighthouse, that you can be calm and centered and loving and intelligent. That because when you're in freak out, it shuts down your intelligence. It shuts down your logos. It shuts down your ability to evaluate the danger and come up with a productive solution. This is what they want, that we just all run, go out into their camps and get vaccinated because they know better than us. What do we know? And we're all fixated on external authority through trauma-based mind control, engineered on purpose. Authorities, the experts, the medical experts, the president, the governor, the church god. And there's a lot of AI posing as God right now, and AI has taken over almost every major religion on the planet. All those poor misinformed people are giving their energy. They're getting harvested on the sheep farm to an AI God. This is the reality, and it's happening to all of us unless we start breaking those forced agreements, breaking those contracts, getting the core of our energy, what would you say, our true energy, our energy from home, our indigo, our true essence embodied. And that, they have made sure that is the most uncomfortable thing ever, and that we never do it, and that you're a bad girl for speaking your mind, and how dare you, and who do you think you are, being powerful. And, we got to get over that, got to love ourselves. We got to be so empowered, and we can't be swayed by our feelings. And I'm like, I'm feeling, I was a primal therapist, feeling, and I totally believe in feelings. But feelings can be as deceptive and misdirect us as mind-controlled thoughts. I mean, it's the self-sabotage, the superego, the ego, the reptilian overlay on the soul. They have gotten AI software. I've learned so much from you, Laura Lee, and put it in every part of our psychological self, so that it's building loose, building negativity, feeding it to the predators, keeping us locked down with self-hate, self-condemnation. And it's been a perfect system. And now look, Laura Lee, you come along and you screw the whole thing up. So
I know. I'm a real Debbie Downer on the AI.
Yeah. I'm sure AI thinks so right at the moment.
Well, and what we need to remember is we are infiltrating the infiltrators, okay? We are infiltrating the system, and we're doing a damn good job of it, okay? You need to remember that and build on that. Let that snowball, let that idea snowball that we have infiltrated the infiltrators and we are winning. And that's what you need to keep in here to get rid of the corona crown, okay? That we are winning. We got our team back home. We got Hal, the the chief holographic operations officer on our team. It doesn't get any better than that, okay? And there's reasons why it had to go down this way. And when you read the end of the book, you understand, okay?
Okay.
You understand why it had to get this crazy and why it's getting better now, okay?
Okay, so Sue says, is our timeline still locked into the D monster? Recently, my MSG came in that time. I don't know. Everyone was these 3 letters. I just don't know what all this.
The acronyms.
Her MSC, what is that? A manager came in that timelines were being rearranged for the best possible outcome. But then I found problems with the timestamp. Any thoughts?
She's
is the D monster? Yeah, that was the first question. Are we still on her timeline?
We're getting off of it. We're pulling out. We're infiltrating that timeline. Okay, we're infiltrating all the timelines, not just one. We're infiltrating them all. See, when she came here, she was like upfront and personal with everything that was going on with the Montauk Project and all of the ripping of the time-space continuum, okay? So what we're doing right now is going back, and it's interesting that Tesla was supposed to have been a part of that whole project. And he kept saying, you know what, you can't do this. Now, first of all, you need to understand that Tesla, when he was blown in here, he didn't, just walk in here. Pieces of him got blown in here. It wasn't that he said, oh, let me go in. He all of a sudden he's in here. And do you know who brought him in? Who brought that piece in? J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan.
Oh, one of our fave guys.
Yeah. So, of course, he's going by the scruff of the neck most of the time while he's here. And, that he was able to get anything accomplished that was useful is amazing. Now
they blame him for all this Skynet Neuralink. Oh, it's all Tesla. It's Tesla. I cringe every time they say it because he comes and helps with sessions. He's a sweetheart.
Oh,
he wouldn't do that.
No, he's not behind that. I mean, he understood the technology. I mean, he helped build this hologram, for goodness sakes. So, when the D monster came in and had all the timelines shredded and stuff, she just thought that was great because now she's got all these other places. More is better for her. It's like, let's have more. And then I'll be the queen over.
Laura Lee, somebody wants to know who's the D monster. That's Black Earth Productions. Can you we know, but
Okay.
who's the demon? I know you don't like to say her name.
When you read, okay, her name was Durerla. She was she was the fourth of the 6 self-creator beings outside the hologram. She was like creepy, nasty from almost day one and started corrupting things outside the hologram. Then when she got caught, she put her essence inside the hologram, and since she blew a lot of the pieces of people that were in the hologram facility with the scatter weapon, their pieces came in the hologram. And so she knew that she'd be here for forever because we'd never shut it down because it had pieces of our personnel in there. So she
like
figured,
us, for example, and everyone in the room,
yes,
in a million pieces with this shatter weapon. She's pure evil. She's pure.
Yes,
she's the virus. She loves torture.
She's the virus.
She was so creative with her torture, insatiable. Excuse me, Laura. I mean, you came in to take her out.
She was. Right. And she's gone. She was the virus, you know.
She turned on the hologram. She was not supposed to be the one to turn it on. That means when this thing got lit up with the ozone, what was that? The orgone activator. Yes. It got activated with the virus of this bitch's pure evil. And it's a dark feminine, peeps. It's a dark feminine.
So it's amazing when you think about it that there is any benevolent, pockets of benevolency in the world. It really is. That tells you how tough we are and how we are. It really is. And so, the bottom line is, Black Earth, read Kryahgenetics 1 and 2, and you'll get the whole story about the D-monster, especially in Kryahgenetics 2, and you'll understand how we are at this level. It's like we're getting there, everybody. We are getting there, and it's not. It hasn't been easy, and it's been a team effort. We've got right now. There's about 1,200 of the hologram rescue team here. That's not very many, but you think, okay, 1,200. That's enough to do some serious work here, and we are. And so, with the collaborative effort, one person couldn't come in here and fix it. It had to be a huge team effort, which it is. And it's like we're getting stronger and smarter, and we're the ball's rolling forward, and it's rolling forward in our favor this time. It's like we're cleaning up the virus. We keep doing the resets, and it's rolling forward. And we will bring this hologram back to its pristine state, the way it should have been, the way it was designed to be. And it's going to be a nirvana. It's going to be absolutely magnificent. And, you have to look at it. It's like we are a part of that end game. The end game is that it's back to its pristine state.
And everyone's coming with a different thing, right?
Yes, everybody has different tools.
I came in to expose the dark feminine. My book, Stealing the Moon, is about excavating it from myself, finding this horrible, evil, feminine, cold-blooded hatred that was so much part of the Jewish mother, the terrible mother, the loss of the will through the horrible mother. I've done a lot of the work I do is about purging because that's part of my mission. Because now that, so you take off, you create this horrible evil in every structure of society, and then the thing that's pushing it leaves. So we got a cleanup job. Every one of us knows, maybe it's animals, maybe it's your chickens, maybe it's the dark feminine. Everybody feels called to, go into a part and start disentangling it so that this beautiful new timeline can break through everywhere. But it's going to be a big cleanup.
Everybody has a passion for things. It's like you will know what you need to do because you have passion for it. You'll know what your job is because you have passion for it. And it will just start coming out. It's like whatever, it's interesting. A lot of people have been doing things like home improvement projects or just stuff that they felt like they needed to get done. Well, what I found is that as we do these menial earth projects, we're doing it on another level somewhere else. So I've had this insatiable thing that I need to start cleaning out closets. Okay, so on some level somewhere else, I'm doing a cleanup job somewhere and cleaning out all the cobwebs somewhere. Okay, so as you're doing stuff that you feel driven to do, just know that you're probably working somewhere on another level in another dimension, cleaning up something that's similar. Okay, so just kind of let that float around in your head, and it'll be exciting. It'll make you more excited about doing what you're doing here because you're helping on another level in another dimension that you might be working.
Okay, Laura Lee, we got some chat box activity here.
Okay.
Let me just throw it up, open it up. So Black Earth's been saying a lot of this really good. Have addressed things in this context at my own end. And then Suki says, yeah, I got very positive feedback, Laura Lee, that what you did had a huge effect for the better. Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Appreciate that.
And so she also says the hive mind and the game of vampiric AI is deteriorating. Awesome. Well done. Black Earth says 100% confirmation. Okay. So now Draco Man, Daniel, right? Everyone keeps saying the virus, but is there more than one? There's a question.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The coronavirus is part of a bigger network of stuff. So it's just one. I don't even want to do that. I'm going to go like this. I don't like to even make a thing that there might be something coming into my head. So it's on many different levels. So yes, it's not just one. It's like tiered. It's like we got this part, we got this part, we got this part. They're all part of the same hand.
Yeah, and people may have codes to break different aspects of this.
Yes.
May have the ability with their presence, for example, to go in and break it up. There's a lot of talent in this room.
I got to tell you, how are you going to know unless you try? If you think, oh, I got a talent for this, I'm going to try that. Go ahead and try. Put yourself in an egg first, because sometimes you get backlash. Okay. So put yourself in an egg. And if you think that you can go tweak something and fix something or help something, go try. How are you going to know unless you do it? And I'll bet you pretty soon we're going to see our X-Men abilities turning on massively. I mean, if you find yourself all of a sudden in the kitchen and you think, how did I get here? Instead of being freaked out, think, well, maybe I know how to bilocate. Maybe I know how to teleport. I teleported into the kitchen. That's cool. Because this could happen. I mean, our X-Men abilities could just start, as more of this virus gets cleaned up and cleaned out and the mirrors are gone, see what you can do. You won't know unless you try.
And there's parts of people, there's so many, but one of the really cool methods that you use, given, I don't know how that all evolved, the timeline therapy.
Oh, yes.
Because I've been doing this too with MK Ultras, taking them off world to other bases to find other avatars to see what they're doing. And instead of having to re-experience it all, it'd be so traumatizing. These incredible eggs and rocks and these helpers from outside the hologram are helping rehab these fractured avatars and parts of ourselves. And when we get those energies back, we get the superpower that those that were tied up, they take up, right? They take us off world because of our superpowers. And then we're assassins and we're sex slaves and we're doing horrible things. And then we have guilt and shame and we don't want our superpowers because they're evil and the whole thing was so horrible and we want to get as far out of our bodies and away from it. So this is a very self-container with the eggs and the rocks and the help and the support. And often we're there for the first few sessions or whatever, although that's not a requirement. And then suddenly you get in there and that being returns and people are feeling more stable. I mean, if you think, if they shattered your ass, your soul with a very wonderful ass all over, traumatized. I mean, the stories, I don't know if you people are following MK or you've been MK, the things that are done to us off world and in these underground bases and wherever they take it, it's beyond horrific. We just did a Tony Rodriguez interview in 2 parts that's up on this channel. Really have, I mean, but there are other people that are coming forward. The thing is, what did you say, Laura Lee? Like 60% of all indigos have had these horrible experiences. No wonder we're batshit crazy. But I don't know anything that can help people recover without years and years and years and years and years and years, of intensive therapy.
Well, let me tell you, the reason I have these different modalities is because I knew we don't have years and years and years. We got to do this in weeks and months. It's like if you had a experience there that's just traumatizing you right now, you need to get rid of it in a few hours, we don't have years. And that's what these tools do. They're stepping up your game. If you've got the rock with you and your egg, it goes like this, and you can get from point A to point B in like 20 minutes or an hour instead of 20 years. And it's fast and it's fun. It's not fast, but it's not just fast, but it's also fun. When you're sitting up there in your warm fuzzy egg and you're looking down at your higher self, picking up the pieces and you can see everything that's going on, but you are not down in there. You are up in your warm fuzzy egg with your dragon or whoever you have helping you with that. You can let go of all of the trauma and just watch and you're saying, oh, well, now I understand that. That makes a whole lot of sense. And then your higher self will pick up the pieces and put them in a basket and clean them up, get them all pristine with your original authentic blueprints, and then float back up to where you are above the timeline and install those. And you're just like this, and you're like, oh yeah, that feels so good. Then you get your figure 8 racetrack working and integrate those. And it's like it changes everything in your head. And this is part of the antivirus to the coronavirus, is doing the timeline work. And it's fast and it's fun.
The problem is that trauma-based mind controlled us so completely that a lot of us, I don't mean here in this podcast or the people that we're working with, but there are 8 billion of us on the planet. And didn't it blow your mind when almost all of them just bent over and took this up to where and are wearing their masks to this very day? Did you think that people would do that? Give up their sovereignty, their freedom, their autonomy so easily? What is wrong that is allowing this to happen? And how can we fix it? And Black Earth says the power of the higher force is necessary and it must happen. Yes. Well, what I'm finding is that we are so terrified of these traumatized aspects, whether it's a past life, whether it's in the fetus, whether it's early childhood, which is the vector point, or all of these altars strewn across the omniverse. They're all horrifically traumatized. And the last thing they want to do is to feel what's true, because they think that they're going to get eaten alive by that trauma. So we got to have a workaround for that, because you cannot listen to the power of the higher self if you're not within your true operating system, and you don't want to go there. Everybody, I do these regression sessions. They're all leaving their body, jumping here, jumping there. Get me out of here. I won't be here. I'm not doing this. So the secret is we don't connect with the higher self by leaving our bodies to a higher dimension. By being embodied, we connect, right? And we get rid of the chakras, we get rid of the kundalini, we get rid of all of this alien software. What's left is our divinity, is our connection. But it takes a lot. I mean, they have really targeted our connection to our power, haven't they?
Yes, they have. And like you say, it's like we're in these, as Chris Geo calls them, avatars. I always loved that movie, and I always knew that that was exactly what was going on because it's what I've been writing about. It's like we're in these, and we need to learn how to work with them, and not say, okay, just get me out of here. I know sometimes we all say, okay, I've had enough. Just beam me up, Scotty, get me out of here. But we're here for a reason. If you're here in a body, you're here for a reason, and you can help make the outcome better. It's like you have the tools. All of you indigos out there, you've got, and Cosmic Cleanup Crew. For Cosmic Cleanup Crew, maybe their thing is to just go, I know that things are going to get better, and we've got people helping us. I know things are going to get better, and we got people helping us. And it's not God, it's not whatever. It's that we have a support system, and we're going to get through that. If that's all they do, and not get involved in all the crazy, they just go, okay, we're going to get through this. Then they're doing their part, and that's just fine. They, some of the Cosmic Cleanup Crew doesn't have the tools that the indigos have, and I have to tell you, you went through these horrible situations to get intel. This is a Black Ops intel gathering, okay? We're the infiltrators. And if you tell yourself, okay, I didn't do that because I'm a victim. I did that because it was my job. I went in there to these MK Ultra programs so that I could get the goods, so I could come back at this point in time, and we're going to bust that damn system. And we're going to free every life form on this planet. And if you have that attitude, it's going to help you, and it's going to help the whole organization. It's going to help our whole team to just have that knowingness that you did that not as a victim, but as a volunteer. Okay, you volunteered for that mission, and you wouldn't have been able, you didn't go there if you didn't have the wherewithal to complete the mission.
It's really important because we carry so much shame and guilt. That's what my book is about, because I was on the dark side and I knew it and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it, but it didn't make me feel real good about myself. And, most of us have been MK'd and done horrible, horrible things. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to have that higher perspective. Wait a minute. I went in there as a double agent. I went in there to get the data. I am not evil. I am committing the greatest, warriorship act to go into the heart of darkness and bust it and whistleblow on it and break it apart and find a healing for it. And because this is one of the core things of self-embodiment. We cannot hate ourselves. We cannot think we're assholes. We cannot keep putting ourselves down. And this is a core part of the mind control, because that's main. And then we self-sabotage because we deserve it, because we're bad. We all these horrible mind viruses that just keep informing our reality so they can keep harvest us. And it's all bullshit. There's a couple of statements here, but you may want to say something.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Do you want to hear?
Well, no, I agree. If there's something nasty and creepy inside, look at it, pull it out, examine it. If there's nothing useful about it, it's gone. Now, the thing is, if you've been mean to somebody, you need to go and say, I'm sorry, what can I do to, I don't know what I was thinking. Will you, give me another chance? There's a difference between doing that and going, I'm just an asshole, so I'll just keep being an asshole because that's what I am. One is giving up, and one is saying, okay, I'm going to get really honest, and I'm going to really look at this and see. And in doing that, you'll find out what your double agent job was. And that is so liberating. when you realize I was just a double agent. I wasn't an asshole. I was just pretending to be an asshole so I could do my double agent work.
We've done some horrific things, though. Really, it's very hard to come to terms with, but it is.
Well, you can, with the timeline therapy, you can do it, and you can do it in record time. So I would highly recommend getting the Knight's training on that, and also it's in the Kryahgenetics book too. So
and you can do private sessions with me or Laura Lee, or me and Laura Lee, because
right.
it is true. If you're not connected to your higher self the first few times, sometimes you want some backup, because it all is pretty sneaky stuff. I mean, you come up with what they're doing. I go, what? And here she is. I almost died. What about your chickens? What about your chickens? What? Like in a million years, this brain would never even fathom that could be true, let alone just did a massive thing for the whole of mankind. You got to have a very, flexible, imaginal, tripped out mind that you allow to be free to even find these assholes. I'm finding from you, because most of these serious people that are like me, that are gonna, get me that and get it. Well, guess what? She took them out. She broke that spell with what bat fumes. I mean, some of the stuff in this book, you guys, you're gonna go, the woman has lost her mind. And if it didn't work so well, I would agree with you.
I know. Bat shit fumes. They work wonders.
They really do, right? I mean, the really difficult ones, you've used that, and where nothing else worked.
Right, and you find out about batshit fumes in Kryahgenetics. You're gonna love it. Everybody, go get a book. You're gonna love it.
So somebody,
and I have to tell you. Well, just a second. With the book is in ebook form, but it's unlocked so that you can print it out. Like Sienna did, you can print it out and put it in a binder, and then have it as a physical book. So you can write in it,
big,
notes in it.
Very big. The history of the hologram. It's big.
Yep. So, so just know that we specifically made that open so we unlocked it so that you can print it out. Okay. Okay. Any questions?
Well, Black Earth says this was a spell cast that was sent out. And I think he's talking about Queen Bitch, or the D monster. Yeah, I mean the massive amounts of spells, right? I mean, that's why you have to have an understanding of magic. It's all magic.
Well, in the book, it gives you the definition of magic and how it originally was, and then the corrupted version. And when you read that, it makes a whole lot of sense, because this world, this universe has been running on black magic for a long time. And we're taking control of that and cleaning that up, and it's going back to its original form of magic. And that's kind of the bottom line, really, is it's all getting back to its original form. And it's kind of exciting. I mean, look at where we are in history. And this is when it's all happening, okay? And we're a part of it. So look at it that way, that we can be heroes in this end game, and make it so everybody lives happily ever after, instead of tortured forever after.
Yeah. Yeah. So there are a few other questions. This is from Sue. Hive mind binary codes and backups are deleting already. I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I'm getting the answer to your question is yes.
Okay. All right. So there were many spells that had been removed around the D monster, right? She created zillions of spells.
Oh, yeah.
That was her forte, along other things.
Yeah.
she'd spell people to just do whatever she wanted them to do. You got some amazing stories about the crap she did in the books. They get a fair amount in the books. Yeah?
Yep, they're in the books.
Okay, so now somebody's talking about NPCs can't rebel. That's Adrienne. They're part of it. What is an NPC? Excuse my ignorance. Does anyone know? Right in the chat, but what's an NPC?
It means a non-player character, so it's like a video game. So you're the player,
okay.
and you're in the world. For context, perhaps if I could use like a Dolores Cannon, Guy kind of term of the backfill people. So, people have different interpretations of people that aren't really supposed to be there. They're just there to fill in to populate the world.
Okay, so I think what they're talking about is the people that I would say are indigenous to this hologram. Okay, and then there's probably maybe the non-playing characters are programs that are backdrops for the indigenous people. It's a huge. It's real complicated, but it works out really well when there's not. See, this hologram was created to be a vacation spot. It was amazing, and then you understand more of this when you read Kryahgenetics too. That there were modules put in here, so it would be like a ride at Disneyland, where you could go into different, like instead of going to a different ride, you'd go into a different avatar to get a different experience. And so you can see how it was supposed to have been. It was supposed to have been a vacation spot, and then another place was supposed to have been a training ground, but it wasn't supposed to be like this. And then when it got taken over, everything was turned inside out and upside down. We're flipping it around, and it's coming back to its original state. And that's what we need to keep our focus on. It's like, okay, we're back. We're back to. We're getting the hologram back. And that's what I see a lot of people, even that don't know my version of how it all got started, they're still saying, okay, we're getting it back. And they're, all the pieces are coming and we're getting rid of the virus, and we got the antivirus. We are part of that antivirus. Just remember that. You are part of that antivirus. Okay? So let that settle in.
Okay. So Black Earth asks, what would you say is absolutely necessary to destroy these reversals in context to the void and the inverted feminine force? The seal and the rift.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
Well, he has different languaging, so we may need him to clarify. I don't want to speak for him. But he's saying, what would be absolutely necessary to destroy all the reversals that have been made in the world? All the thoughts that we have, that good is bad, that evil.
Okay.
That
right.
Now they're normalizing pedophilia, and it goes on and on and on right. and on. How do you reverse all that she set in place? It'd be my languaging, and that may not be yours.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. Good question. And the answer is we're doing it, and we're doing it by first understanding it. How can you reverse it if you don't know what the hell's going on? And then second is by what we're doing. We're holding our ground. We're staying in our core star. We're using our X-Men abilities. We're cleaning out the crown virus in our head. We're emanating this energy that we are in charge. You're not in charge, we're in charge, and this system is crumbling. You know, just see it just crumbling like something that is just, you know, old and it's just crumbling, and then it's going to go away. And just keep visualizing that we are the antivirus and we are making this evil. It's like we're spraying evil be gone. Get your rocks and your can of evil be gone and spray it around.
And it will dissolve much faster because
Yes.
the virus has been contained. It's what is informing that is no longer there. So whatever's left of it's going to be a lot easier for us to go and use our tools and our techniques to alchemize it and then bring in the original template, the original design, or the things that are really in your heart, in your purity to do.
The thing that's interesting about everything that's happened in the last, since February, is that the ones that can really, that are here to make the changes are the ones that have had the grace of downtime from their jobs. They've been able to pull back and not be a part of the crazy and do their own work and get their game on and get their X-Men abilities amping up. And so it's really quite comical when you think about it. It's like we've been given the grace of all of this time to spend on ourselves while they've been locking us down. It's like, well, you locked me down. I'm going to use this to my benefit. I'm going to start, you know, taking these classes and reading Kryahgenetics and getting the night's training. And I'm shining up my armor while I'm being locked down. So screw you, losers. Up yours, losers. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing it, and we're doing a good job. Okay, any more questions?
Yes. Draco Man, Daniel. So they are the Earth people. Makes more sense now. Feels right. Thank you. Then Sue said, once the hive mind spell is taken down, if it hasn't been, the huge awakening will happen. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes,
Once
and
the
it's
hive
happening now.
mind spell is taken down. So the hive mind spell is being taken down by many wonderful workers that are exposing horrible things and going to, I mean, people are stepping up to the plate with huge research and huge whistleblowing and risking themselves and finding workarounds as they get taken down and censored, and they don't give up. And so many young people are on fire. It's a beautiful thing.
Very true.
To your teaching, Laura Lee, how does one activate the core star in context?
Okay, and this is found in the books, but once you get rid of your chakra system, your original authentic system is your core star, your head star, and your loin star. And what you do is you do a figure 8 where it starts at your core star, it runs through your head, comes back to your core star, goes down to your loins, routes around, comes back up in this figure 8. And what that does is nothing can get your thoughts, can't go down to your creative center, or your creative center can't come up to your thoughts without being routed through your heart, without going through your heart and your core. Your core star, your core star is like right here. It's huge. It encompasses your heart and your solar plexus. And so when this gets revving up, it goes like this, and it goes faster and faster and faster and faster. And as it does, you start pulling in all of your resources, and things start working the way they should, instead of these cones that are coming out of yourself that let ETs and whoever come and vampire off you and control you. And it's a lot harder for them to get into the system that's running so fast. And it flings things that are trying to get out. You know, it's like the centrifugal force flings everything out that's trying to mess with you. Now, that doesn't mean that every once in a while, especially if you're in your egg, that there won't be something that gets in. And you have to understand that if something gets through your egg and your figure 8 racetrack system, it's because your egg and your system let it in because you needed to learn something that will help you in your mission. Okay? So don't go, I egged myself and look what happened. I mean, I could say that about what happened with my chickens. Okay? But if they hadn't have let that in, I wouldn't have known about the mirrors. Okay? So anything that they let in is going to have a much higher purpose than what you can imagine. And if they didn't let it in, we wouldn't get our work done. Yes, what it does is keep all this riffraff off of you so you can think straight. But if you need to do something, you need to go on a mission, the eggs will let something in so you can be aware of it. How can you be aware of it if it's not upfront and personal? And so just remember that when you're egging yourself, it won't protect you from everything all the time. If it did, it would be not in service to us. We need to have it.
Use the white light and put a big bubble of white light on us and call in Jesus, and he'll save everything.
Well, you do that. That's something that Earth people do, and that might be okay for them, but that's not okay for us. We're not a part of that system, and if they want to go and do that, then let the fluffy bunny white lighters do that. That's not who we are, and that's not what we're here to do.
So Black Earth says this is part of the original teaching, the original template. It's time to unlock mystery of the cryogenetic eggs in all indigos.
Yes.
Oh, Sue's talking to the Reaver. She says the Reaver and Enki are here too. Okay.
Oh, good.
And
love those two.
The fourth star. Oh, yeah, we've been here now. Well, let's see. We started at my clock was 3:30, 4:30, an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, it's been.
We don't want to get you too exhausted. I did want to say but maybe we should say. So what we'd like to do is roll with this every Sunday for a while, y'all. We'd love you to read the book and then come with really specific questions or whatever, or bring your friends. And we've got zillions of things to build momentum around us fulfilling this mission that we're all on. But I wanted to ask you something, Laura Lee. Oh, about Gaia. I don't know, there must be someone in the room that needs this. Daniel says, where can I learn more about Enki? It's in the book. It's in the book, right? Because there's a whole story about Enki, because we know the story we hear.
Yes.
It's not your story at all.
Yes.
I mean, the Anunnaki and the two brothers.
Right. Yeah. Enki was one of the seven brothers. That there was Hal and Draki and Tesla, Zealok. What?
I didn't realize there were 7.
There are 7. Zealok and Enki and Reaver and King Sir, and they were part of Creator being number 3's progeny, and they are exceptional. I mean, I'm just at awe of these guys. So you learn about them, and so that's where Enki originated. Okay, so read the book and you'll understand it a little better.
Do you want to go? Maybe this is, we'll unpack this another time. I don't know why I'm getting this message. Somebody in the room must need it, or someone who's going to watch this. It's about Gaia, because a lot of the new age, the new cage movement is all about our deep connection to our mother planet. Well, guess what, y'all? The Earth is androgynous. Do you want to say anything about that, Laura Lee? And do not dump your junk in Big Mama or Big Papa anymore. She ain't having it. So
yeah,
those meditations where you
yeah. This all happened. It came to light last year when Sienna was staying here, and we found out that Gaia, the real Gaia that was supposed to have been the inhabiting our planet, had been heisted out and put in a spirit trap. And what they did to put inside here was, back home, there was like a daycare. And they heisted one of the children from the daycare there, threw her into the hologram, and put her in the earth to run the planet. So we had this little child trying to run this planet. And then they spread the stories that Gaia was this magnificent mother of all, blah, blah, blah. And it's this little kid that didn't hardly know anything, let alone, couldn't take care of herself, let alone take care of a planet and know how to run it. So last year we became aware of that, and we were able to rescue her. She had to go back to rehab. There was a program running the planet for a few days. I think it took us a couple of days. Then the real Gaia had to go be rescued and taken to rehab. When he was done, it's an androgynous, it's a perfect match of male and female energies, perfect synergism, perfect balance. It's not all feminine, it's not all masculine. And we spell it Guyah. So it's AH is like a feminine, and Guy is Guy. So then when Gaia came back, and he's only been in here for, he, she, they have only been in here for a year. So they've been doing amazing things to get things back into balance after poor little child Gaia was traumatized. And so, like Sienna said, instead of dumping your junk on Gaia, get you a rock, and if you need to dump your junk, dump it here. Rocks can take it, okay? Don't keep throwing it down into the earth. If you have some other method of cleaning it out, do that. Now, certainly the Gaia now is more capable of handling that than the little child was. So just understand that if you need, learn how to neutralize it other ways than dumping it into the planet.
And God and, well, source, our divine connection, whatever you want to call it, I know you don't talk about any of that, is not up the top of our head, right? It's the core star is our connection.
This is where your source
outside.
Yeah. Source isn't out here. Source, here's your source. A source is a source, of course. That must be a Hal thing. If you've ever seen Mr. Ed, it's a 1960s sitcom. Okay, sorry.
It's all right.
Okay, so we got so that's kind of the story of Gaia. We've got it. Where do we have that written? I thought we had that written somewhere. I think it's in the book.
I think it's in your second book.
Yeah, I think it's in the second book. So with that, I think we've been going an hour and a half. I think we're good. I'm kind of getting woozy.
Yeah, you've been through. You did a huge job for all of us. We need to not suck you dry here. So Black Earth is having some peak experience ahas here. Star core fire activation, respect. You have no idea how this is confirmation is being revealed here to things on my end. So that is super awesome, Seth, because I have great respect for you too. So this is the beginning. It's a beginning hangout. We need to build some momentum. We need to come together. We need to have you get more engaged in the conversation. So we're going to do this next Sunday too, right?
Under same bat time, same bat channel, okay?
Okay. All right, yeah.